How's it going, everyone? It's Ben Foggins, Media Corner, back again with a brand new video for today. And to continue on with my review of The Last of Us series, of course, I'm here to review episode 5. Now, this episode was directed by Webb, who directed the last episode, and in this episode, after what we saw at the end of episode 4, where it ended on a cliffhanger and we were introduced to the characters of Henry and Sam, in this episode, we see what these characters were doing before we were introduced to them at the end of episode 4, in which where we see both of these characters trying to avoid Kathleen and Perry, as well as her troops, since these characters are on the hunt for them, and we see Kathleen wanting to get her revenge on Henry since he killed her brother. And then from there, we see Henry and Sam meeting up with Joel and Ellie, and then they eventually team up along with them, and they go along with them through their journey they're still going through it at the moment. So that's pretty much the synopsis for episode 5 of The Last of Us. Now, the last episode, which was episode 4, which I did watch, I thought that episode was a great, solid episode, although it wasn't quite as perfection like the last 3 episodes, which I truly loved, but I still really enjoyed it, even though it went a bit down though. But as for this episode, which I just recently watched this episode this afternoon, after watching it, I can definitely tell you guys that this episode is generally fantastic here. Like, I really, really loved episode 5 of The Last of Us here. And the best way I can describe this episode is that I found it really intense, yet thrilling, and also really powerful at the same time here. What I really loved about this episode was the differences between the characters of Henry and Sam. Because in the game, both of those characters talked, but for the show here, Henry does talk, but for Sam, he doesn't even talk at all, really, because he's actually deaf, and we see him communicate with sign languages here, and I found those moments really adorable here. And when it comes to the performances by the 2 actors who portray these characters, like Keivonn Woodard, who plays Sam, I thought he was terrific here, and it's definitely another great performance I've seen from a deaf actor here since A Quiet Place and Coda. And as for Lamar Johnson, who plays Henry, he was terrific and really powerful here in this episode here, especially for one scene where we see him having a conversation with Joel in this episode, where he discusses about his past of what he has done wrong, and I found that moment really powerful and very well acted here, mostly due to Johnson's performance as well as for Pascal's performance. And we even get to see some more interactions with Ellie and Sam in here, more than the game here, which I found are really strong and really adorable here. And also in this episode, we get to see a very, very intense moment here, which I've really, really loved here, is where we see Joel being on the lookout with this sniper, just like in the game. But it is pretty different in the game, because in the game it is set in daylight, but in the show it's set at nighttime, and I found it really intense and very thrilling at the same time, where we see Joel trying to protect Ellie, Henry, and Sam from Kathleen and her troops, since they're after them and all that. And once at that moment where we thought Kathleen was going to get her revenge on Henry for killing her brother, we get to see the horde of the infected, and for that moment it was absolutely thrilling and really, really violent here. And we even get to see our first look at one of the new infected, and that was the bloaters. And the way they look here, they look truly disgusting, but I really loved it here, just like how I felt with when I saw the clickers in episode 2. And I just really loved that. I just really loved all of that big action-packed moment here in this episode here. And once after we saw all of that here, we get to see Joel, Ellie, Henry, and Sam relaxing after what they just went through. But the way it ends up, it is really gut-wrenching here. And as you probably already know, like in the game, for Henry and Sam, the journey they go on with, the journey that they go through with Joel and Ellie doesn't really last that long. And in this episode, it does showcase that here. And when it came to that, it did bring me to tears as well as I was watching this episode here, because I really found myself really caring for Henry and Sam, surprisingly, because I did like them in the game, but I just love them even more here in this episode here, and I just loved how they were played out so differently here than the game and all of that. But overall, in the end, guys, The Last of Us episode 5, this was truly another fantastic episode here. And like I said, the best way I can describe this episode, it was really intense, yet thrilling at the same time, but also really, really powerful as well here. So that's pretty much all I have to say about The Last of Us episode 5. I'm going to give The Last of Us episode 5 5 out of 5. yeah, like I said, I truly loved everything about this episode here, and I just can't wait to watch the last few remaining episodes that I have left to watch for the show here. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching my review of The Last of Us episode 5, and let me know what you think of this episode, if you've seen this already or if you just recently checked it out. Did you really adore this episode, or did you not really like this one? As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and this has been Foggins Media Corner signing off.